Hey guys, it's Mayor. Welcome, Lick My Brain. Today, you can see on your screen, we have the beautiful Kim Harrison back, baby. She's back. And we're going to talk about, of course, we'll talk about the dream coaching, right, that she does. But the most exciting stuff right now that is just absolutely freaking fascinating is her cosmic origin quest. I've done it twice. It blows my mind and I love it and I'm addicted to it. And I will be honest, you're all going to be so jealous, but this is me in my cosmic quest. So I love it. Welcome, welcome, Miss Kim.
Well,
Welcome,
thank
welcome.
you, Mayor. Such a pleasure to be on your podcast again and be a repeat.
Mm,
Thank you for inviting me.
I'm so glad. I'm so glad we got together again. So, what is going on in the world of Kim Harrison right now?
Oh my goodness, it's a lot. As you mentioned about the Cosmic Origin Quest, it's it's relatively new. It started in July, where I actually downloaded this information. And if you're, I mean, your listeners are kind of woo-woo, and they'll
Oh
get
yeah,
that.
yeah. They
They
love this
understand
stuff.
download, meaning it just came to me, came to me in a
Mm-hmm.
liminal dream space that I got this information. And so I've been working with it since then and putting it into some format and creating tools to use it. And it's layering. It's coming to me in sections. So I have the first few sections, which you've had the privilege of doing and finding value in, and
Mm-hmm.
uh, and then the next level has dropped in. I really wanted to create something that had a self-guided process to it, where a person who learned their resonances could then actually do something with them uh, through a 13-week process.
Right.
Maybe we need to back up a little bit. I don't know. Maybe I'm getting ahead of myself. Or am I getting ahead of myself a little bit?
I mean, we're just so excited because it's the year of the horse, of course. So we want to
Oh,
fire
you're the
through it.
horse.
We just got to slow it
My
down.
cart ahead of my horse.
All the things, yes. Because
Okay.
it's so, well, what I will say really quick is the first one I did, and I got to find out where my origins, there was, I think, three at the time,
Mhm.
and it just made sense. All of it made sense. And then when I did it again, the questionnaire part of it is actually really fun because you have this like responsive what you think you should answer. And then if you answer what you think you should, you're not going to, so you have to really look at the questions. And I forced myself, like, stop being what supposed to be and answer from your actual soul, from your heart. That's how you're going to really find it out. Well, it showed so many other layers because I wasn't in that fake facade anymore. I was really
Oh,
answering deeper. And so when she showed up, this is my mother exactly. Like she looks just like my mother, God rest her soul. So I love her. And I love the first one you did. The first one you did had a little bit different, graphics around her and there were different messages in that. So there's so many of us that are looking for where the heck did we come from, or you feel a little bit different out of your body, or you feel something just doesn't quite feel right. And there's so many modalities in our community that just little bits and pieces, you start to feel whole again. And this was like a
mm.
really big missing piece for me. I still haven't researched all of it or actually given myself the time to look through this whole thing, but I love what I'm learning about myself through this. So I think everyone should do it. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, let me tell you how it works, because
Yes.
because you kind of thank you for that. That's amazing, because I love hearing that, and that's really what Mare's one of my testers. She's one of the first people to do this for me, and because I knew I needed to test it with people to see if
Hmm.
there was even value. I knew within myself that the information that was coming through was powerful, and that it could make a difference in people's lives and can really line up some things for them that maybe they were there. Some information was floating around in their awareness, but they weren't
Hmm.
really putting the pieces together. And this
Exactly.
all formulated for me, and it started with the questionnaire, which is now called the Cosmic Origin Quiz. Um, Quiz just because people like to take a quiz. And the quiz is free. Anyone can take it. It's available on my website. You can just go and click and take the quiz. It takes about 5 to 15 minutes, depending on how long you choose to linger on a question. I don't suggest you linger very long. I think that uh, we kind of know. And these are questions that really, as you mentioned, kind of take you deeper into who you are, take you deeper into
Mhm.
thinking about things. Some people just have said they've gotten great value just on answering those questions themselves
Yeah.
because it helps them to understand, do you prefer the mountains or do you prefer water? What are your dreams saying? And so I've had people even come to me and said, well, what if I don't, none of them are resonate with me? I'm like, well, if none of them resonate with you, what would, if one of them was something that were to come into your existence, what would you want
Mhm.
it to be? So you can take it a little deeper that way and get out of your head. And like Mare said, drop into your heart and
Mhm.
answer the questions. Right there, you're going to get value because you're answering some questions that maybe you haven't asked yourself and take you
Absolutely.
deeper into finding that out. Within just a few minutes, you'll get an email back that will share your top resonance with you. Now, resonance means that these are archetypes that represent certain frequencies. I'm not going to go into the whole detail about that, but they're cosmic archetypes. So I've got some of them that are resonating on planetary. So like there's Venusian. Some of them are actual uh, star systems, like the Pleiadians or the Sirians. And some of them are essences, like Lightworker and crystal energy. So there are 13 of them. And of these 13, some of them you'll answer more questions that align you with a certain frequency, and that frequency will rise to the top. Now, I found out though, and this is something I want to share, is that the way the algorithm is that sometimes you'll have a tie at the top. You'll have two frequencies at the top instead of just one.
Mhm.
And the the information you're getting in your email will only show you your top resonance.
Mm.
So if you're only getting your top resonance, you're not getting the full story. And you're not getting the full story because I like to blend them together. I have found that the top two, three, sometimes four of those resonances really make the real picture of what your season is going to be like.
Mm.
These are resonances that aren't necessarily, I'm going to show you your entire life. I'm going to show you what this season, and I mean season like winter, spring, summer, fall.
Mhm.
Mare's in a process where she's taking it 4 times so that she can really, really tune in to where she is. Because I don't know about you, but 3 months ago, I was kind of a different person. I was thinking
Yeah.
different things, feeling different things. Different things were important to me. I've Some of them are more fine-tuned calibrations, but some of them are actually like, I don't even, that's not even important to me like it was then.
Right.
And so this is a calibration tool to the moment that you're in now.
Mm.
And so that's called an unveiling. And that is something that you can schedule with me. And I take your resonances. That's when I go to work. I take your
Mhm.
resonances that came through for you and I compile them together into a really nice report that Mare was just showing you. She had right there. It includes that photo, that generated photo of the blend of your essences, the blend of your information, taking into account the order that they're in. Also, some strengths and challenges of each one of those.
Mhm.
So you're okay with me mentioning what you are, what came
Heck
through for you?
yeah. Heck
Okay,
yeah.
so in Mare's report, she had some Syrian and Arcturian resonances that came through, and um, and some Orion energy, and the shift was pretty dramatic. And I'm not going to go into all the details on that, but the shift was pretty dramatic. And some things came to the surface, and others kind of drifted off in just 13 weeks.
Mhm.
So I really felt that that wasn't enough. There's another tool that needed to go along with this. As you mentioned, I provide this really nice report and I send it to you after we do an attunement and we do I do a 45-minute session with you online. Then, then I send you this report.
Yeah.
And a report's like anything else. We got so much going on in our lives, it gets set somewhere. And I love that you have the picture present so you can look at it because it reminds
Mhm.
her of that. But the work is kind of hidden in there unless you sit down and really study it, and most of us won't use it. So to make this more valuable, I created a self-guided journey that one can take for 13 weeks after taking their unveiling, where every week you'll get an email that'll drop in just a bite-sized piece that you can choose to use or not. So like Mary, you can open that email
Mm-hmm.
and Mary could say, oh wow, this is really matters to me at this moment. It really resonates with me. And so then she can uh, either meditate on that or just have that awareness and say, I'm going to walk through this week remembering this about myself. I'm going to walk through this week recognizing that this is a challenge that sometimes I struggle with, and this is how I can overcome it.
Right.
There's meditation prompts, there's journal prompts in there too, as
Love that.
well as some affirmations, things she might be able to say to herself throughout the week. And every
Mm-hmm.
week for 13 weeks, she'll get that. And that is the compass. And I love it because if you think about a compass, you're on a journey and you have a compass in your hand and it points you in the direction you want to go. But then there's
Mm-hmm.
sometimes you're like, I know where I'm going. And you just stick the compass back in your pocket and you just keep going. So it's to be used like that. You can
Yeah.
take it out and use it when you want to, or you can choose not to. So that's the cosmic origin quest. Also, as for those who are choosing to, if they really wanted to go deep, I'll walk through this journey with you for the next 13 weeks, week by week. You can have a one-on-one session with me. So that's always available because I am a life coach for dreamers and I want to help people obtain that. But I find that the majority of people, that compass is probably all you need right now to really work with the energies yourself. Because my whole purpose behind this is to support the dreamer, you, the person who is connecting to your cosmic origin,
Mm-hmm.
to really fine tune and recognize that there is information floating out there that you are, maybe your radio signal is off. If you think of yourself as we have energy within our bodies. We are a like a radio, like a tower, radio tower. Oh, look, my hand went up. We're a radio tower, and we're picking up transmissions, right? And when we
Mm-hmm.
pick up these transmissions from even like, have you ever had that opportunity where you think of somebody and then they call you?
Right.
You know, that we already know that we do that. That's we recognize that, but there's more than that out there. And so this is a attunement tool. This helps you to attune to those frequencies so that you pick them up a
Absolutely.
little more clearly and can use them in your body. So that's, I mean, as you can tell, I get super excited about it. I could talk about it all day long, but
Yeah.
you have questions and stuff for me. And I mean, I don't know if this is licking brains or not, but uh,
Absolutely it is.
I'm really excited about it, and I hope that it is inspiring people to pay attention in
Mm-hmm.
a new way, and that this tool will help them and support them in doing that. So
Yeah, and
that's
I
what
think
I've been doing. That's what I've been doing.
that's
If you
what
ask
you
me the
just a
long
little
answer,
something.
that's a super long answer, Mayor, to hey, what have you been doing lately?
How you doing? Well,
Okay,
you've been busy.
I've been busy. So what else
I,
you got? What else you want to know about me?
well, I just want to say I think what a really big part of this just doodling origin question or questionnaire when you get it back, and I think keeping you in on a one-on-one on that is super valuable because some of the stuff we don't all know as much as you know, right? You're teaching us, but then it's when we start to maybe look at something that just doesn't, we don't see it, you see it. And so when you see it and you bring that to our attention, we're like, oh yeah. For instance, I will tell this story forever. Being when the very first time we ever interacted, I didn't really know you too well. And I was already in that headspace where I was so withdrawn. I was wearing a hat, I was wearing black, and we were going down the river, and I'm in long pants because I don't want anyone to see me. Because all I've ever been told from my dad was, you're just so big. If you would just lose the weight, you'd be so pretty, right? So I grew up with that. And we're releasing these rocks and we're letting go of things. So we're holding these rocks and we're like, this is representing this. And I'm letting go of these thoughts. These aren't my thoughts, blah, blah, blah. And I flipped it over. And I remember you saying you just felt called to come over and tell me that my dad probably said those things, not maybe the best delivery, but his intention was he knows how cruel the world can be and didn't want me to go through that. And that was such a huge healing moment between me and my late father because I'm like, okay, Dad, well, it's your condition. It was what you were. It's not you. It was what you were raised around and what you were trying to prevent in a very awkward way. Not crazy about your
Mhm.
delivery,
Yeah.
but very, very healing.
Well, that's exactly what I'm talking about. We all have that ability to pick up on that. There was something in that day that I felt this message, like, and I just felt it.
Mhm.
Now, whether it was, your dad, or whether it was information that was in the cosmos, or whether it was just my
Right.
heart, I don't, we can study the science and drag it down to its infinite uh,
Mm-hmm.
knowledge, or we can just accept it as true, or as you did, it felt right, right?
Exactly.
I felt like I wanted to say this to you, and I
Mm-hmm.
don't know where it came from. It wasn't anything that I felt like I should say it. That your
Mm-hmm.
dad loved you that much, that he wanted to protect you from this cruel world, and he
Yeah.
knew that it would be easier for you if you weighed less,
Right.
and that's the only way that he could think it in his mind, because he knew, he saw your beauty, he saw your strength, he saw all of the wonderful things about you, but he knew that people might judge you for
Right.
this one thing about you. And he thought, well,
Mm-hmm.
if she can change that one thing, then nobody will judge her. They won't be so mean to her, right?
Right.
And if that's, whether that's true or not about what he was thinking, it was true in that that's what I felt like sharing with you. And it
Mm-hmm.
was true that that resonated with you in a way that is still so profound. Years later, you're still sharing it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what we're tapping into when we
Right.
get really clear on how we vibrate in this world,
Mm-hmm.
how we function, who and what we resonate with, and how we can be of service. That's the last piece, how we can be of service like that, how we can support each other in our journeys to
Right.
becoming the most sovereign, beautiful, wonderful selves that we can be. And
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's such a privilege to be on that journey with you, and that you received it so well. But sometimes I could have said, "Oh, that's just going to think I'm stupid if I say that," if
Right.
and I could have not said it,
Mm-hmm.
and I chose to say it because
Mm-hmm.
I've been doing this work. I've been working with myself enough to say, when I have these nudges, when I have this intuitive hit, when I get this message that comes from nowhere, it just pops into my head that I should say this thing to this person. And I've checked it through my system and recognized that it's in love and in light and it's for their highest good, then I
Right.
share it, recognizing that it can be received by her or not.
Right.
But and I'm so grateful that that happened, and
I
that's
am
exactly
too.
that's the work I do, and that's the work I teach others to step into that as well through
Mm-hmm.
the cosmic origin quest.
And watching you when it's so fascinating when we're in different events or groups or classes or whatever, and you say, "Oh, that's just totally channeled." It fascinates me because it's not like you change. You don't all of a sudden look,
My
nothing
eyes are
changes
rolled
about
back in my
you.
head.
Yeah, like, but you're like, oh, like you just took a quick little message. Like, oh, yeah, okay, guess what? I need to say this. And it's always on point with whatever
Oh,
we're all talking about. It's so beautiful.
and everyone can do that.
Hmm.
We just have to tune in, and that's what the quiz does. It shows you how you already vibrate. Now, there's 13 different resonances, right? That this is picking up on, and not everybody has the same ones. I'll say most people have Pleiadian somewhere. Pleiadian frequency is very high, but not everyone. Like you don't have it very high.
Right. I think that's
You've
like
got
the
you've got
fourth
some
or
others,
something.
and I love that because we're all different and all have a different mix. I mean,
Mhm.
it's and so it allows us to support each other. I said to someone today, she was mentioning how something happened. Oh, about dreams. She had been a person who was an avid dreamer, and then when she came to me, she was really upset because something traumatic had happened in her life, and she had stopped dreaming. Like she literally
Mm,
couldn't recall her dreams anymore. And so I asked her one question, and I just asked her, could it be that your dreams are still there? They haven't gone away. And could it be that you're just not listening? And that maybe if you just opened up to and asked for the message,
mhm,
that your dreams might return to you. And she received that. And this was months and months and months ago. And I remember she cried and she said, I'm going to try that. I'm going to go home and try that tonight. I'm going to try that tonight and just say, please
mhm.
come back to me. I've missed you. I need your wisdom and guidance. I really want to know what my subconscious is telling me.
Yeah.
And she said that she's dreaming again, just like before. She said it started almost like veils. There were veils in front of it, like she could see through these sheer curtains, but there was a bunch of them. And that they started to just kind of wipe away until where then her dreams were just clear like they were before. And she has a vivid and active dream life again. And she's so much
Mhm.
happier because she's connected to that side of herself. And
Yeah.
that just brings me such joy in recognizing that it's just knowing, just walking through it. And she said, I don't know what happened. And I said, we just had a communication that supported you. And one little step, had I not said that one thing, would she have come to this conclusion? Maybe, maybe not. But
Right.
because I opened up to what was coming in through my channels, she was able to clear and open up her channels. So now she can serve in a better way. She can clear out information better, and she can get the messages that she needs to from her subconscious to act in her consciousness.
And it's
And
so huge when you do. It's so huge.
yeah,
When you told me that the dark figures I was seeing, you're like, well, what if they're not scary? What if they're messengers and they want to come make sure you're protected and taken care of? And I went, yep, okay, we're going there. And never saw them again. I thanked them all for taking care of me and the cats and the hubby, and then they were gone. I don't see them anymore. Which, but I still am. You taught me to ask for, because my dreams don't always stay forefront when I wake up. And so you had suggested that I keep a little book, and I have the book. I don't do it on a regular basis, but I need to do the asking, help me remember my dreams when I wake up. And then the first thing I wake up, is usually to some kind of heavy metal alarm. So I start singing. But after that, I want to start writing that down again because I
yeah,
I have trouble recalling my dreams. I do.
I find that most people who keep a dream journal, there's a few that keep a dream journal every night, and they're it's just part of who they are. But I'm the same way. I don't record my dreams every night. But when
Yeah.
I'm really looking for a message, when I'm really struggling with something, trying to I will literally ask for dream recall. Like, please, tonight when I wake, I will remember my dream. When I wake, I'll remember my dream. And then I'm prepared for them in the moment when I wake or in the morning. Or if I get up in the middle of the night and have to go to the bathroom or something and I come back
Right,
to
right.
bed, I'll ask, where was I? What was I going? Do I remember anything? Um, and because they will fade, we quickly get into our conscious mind, and our conscious mind gets to work and thinking about what we got to do that day and the reason you set that alarm and all the
Mhm.
things. Um, uh, and and they will fade unless they're really loud dream. And sometimes that can be a nightmare. That can be
Mm,
a panic dream or like a saga dream, a dream that seems like it's like a regular movie, goes on and on and on. We'll be
mm,
like, my goodness, that was, we wake up and it's very vivid and memorable. Those are
mhm.
usually the ones we write down because they're so powerful to us,
Right.
or maybe they're scary. We will woke up going, if you wake up like that, it's
Hmm.
probably something you should write down
Yeah.
because there's value there. There,
Hmm.
it came through the veil enough to literally give you a visceral response. Like you
Hmm.
literally gasped, or you were laughing, or you were crying. You ever
Hmm.
woke up laughing? I love when I wake up laughing
Yeah.
because I was doing something fun, or I was enjoying myself. I
Hmm.
write those down. I have a daily practice of morning writing, morning pages, so I call them. So I will, after I get my coffee and everything, I'll sit down, and oftentimes if I had a dream, I'll write it down there. And I've taught myself that I can kind of hold it until then.
Oh, that's
And
good.
in
Yeah.
the act of writing, even if it's just a little bit, like, oh, I was at a circus and there was my cousin was there and my best friend from the third grade. As I'm writing it down,
It's
I start
starting.
remembering more. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then it like more pulls through. So the act of writing it down or sharing it verbally. I'm a verbal processor and an auditory intuitive. I like to hear things,
Hmm.
and even myself. Like, so if I share it out loud, if I tell my husband, or if I um, share it with a friend first thing in the morning, and I use the WhatsApp app because that supports me, and it's an easy way to record something.
Hmm.
It will, there's a lot of value there too. So just writing it down, finding a system that you
Hmm.
can support you, or typing it out and then emailing it to yourself.
Right.
especially if you're having what you consider to be prophetic dreams. The only way to check if you're having prophetic dreams is to write them down and date record them.
And what does that mean?
A prophetic dream, like if you said, "Oh my gosh, I dreamt that my brother and I were going to be standing by this river, you know, and now here I am standing next to my brother by this river." Right? And this is was
Uh,
in my dream. Do you know?
hmm
A
hmm
prophetic dream, something it happens in the future. And we do have those. Not
Yeah.
not everyone has them, but some are very, very good at
Mhm.
having prophetic dreams. And those, if you write them down, then you can prove them. If I wrote down that I had a dream and I was standing by the river with my brother, and I wrote it down on March 4th, and that happened on April 10th, I can say, look, I dreamt this. I dreamt
Yeah.
that this was going to happen.
Right.
And it validates
hmm
your superpower, your ability to make meaning prior to it happening, to really
Right.
bend time so yeah, all of that is well documented. The dream, we're just barely scratching the surface on dreams and with the value that they have to us, but oh, they
Right.
have so much. But
Yeah.
it's been known before we were even, out of the cave, how valuable that space is. It's a third of our lives where we're
Mm.
sleeping. Something's going on. It's clearing
Right.
out chemicals and it's clearing out data that's coming through our senses throughout the day, but there's
Mhm.
also something else there, and we all know it.
Yeah.
We all know that there's something magical that happens in that space.
Very true. Very true. One of the main, one of your superpowers, honest to God, is you find value in everything, even if it's a horrible, dark moment. You will find the silver lining, the value, and all of that. And I just love that about you. That no matter what we're doing, it could be just a, it could just be a crappy day, and you're like, you know what, it's been a, but look at now we got this, or you're just, and that's just something people don't always do that anymore. It's just such a negative thing. So I love when you're talking about all this stuff that people might not get, you're still showing them through the value why it's
Yeah,
important to
I
know.
think there is value in everything that happens to us. Uh,
hmm
uh, I had a friend, who used to say, uh, she said, "Everybody's an example, so be a good one."
Oh, I
Like,
love that.
and so, and I always, and that I may have messed it up a little bit, but I always remember her thinking, okay, there's two sides to every coin. I can take the worst thing that's happened to me, or the worst experience, and I can see. Sometimes it takes a while, but I can see the value. That
Right.
doesn't mean it isn't painful. That doesn't mean there isn't lessons to learn. That doesn't mean that there isn't, that I'm not balled up in the middle of my bed with the covers pulled up over my head and then eating chocolate ice cream under there either. It doesn't mean any of that. Sometimes that happens too. But
Right.
there's still there's data, there's information in that. And I believe that I used to believe in a lot more darkness and actually even do some spiritual warfare type things, but I made a conscious choice to play in the light.
Yeah.
And by playing in the light, then I can find the value because that's where I want to go. I want to ascend to a higher level than I am. I'm only in competition with myself and who I was yesterday, you know.
Right.
And the hours that I'm here on this earth, is here to serve humanity in some fashion, as well as have a pretty great experience while I'm doing it.
hmm
If I let's just say I chose to come here to this planet, right? If I made this choice, I came here to learn and experience. And then sometimes I learned from my depression. I learned from those deep,
hmm
dark holes and times where it's hard to get my head up.
Yeah.
But that's valuable. And I'm always searching for the light
Yeah.
and helping people to do the same thing. And I'm not trying to negate, you know, clinical depression or
Right.
psychosis or things that are real and they really happen to people. Those people people who are suffering from those type of things, and I use the word suffering. I think that suffering is optional. I believe that suffering is optional. Um, so anybody who has been diagnosed with that, let's say that, um, I'm not a clinical psychologist. I don't carry those degrees. I have a degree in psychology, but I am not equipped to deal with that type of thing. But I don't think that the majority of us need that type of help. We just need, like you said, to find a modality that supports us, that resonates with us, and that can help improve our lives so that we can see the value in
Right.
things. But I'm also my human design and um, my magi card helps
Mhm.
support me, and that is a very high value for me.
Yeah.
Is is finding the value in legacy. Yeah.
Yeah, I love that. Will you tell us or tell them as well, what, when you say residence,
Mhm.
I'm picturing like little apartments. That's all
Little apartments.
yeah, little
Oh, like
apartment, in the residency of our origin. When you say that, what does that mean exactly? The residence
resonance.
of our origin.
Okay, well, resonance is a term that like when two things are in harmony. So like
Mm,
um if you like think of music, right? You have when you hear a guitar playing and then the drum beat together, they resonate with each other.
okay.
They make a sound in our head. Or even two strings, you can have a guitar playing, you ding this one, and then you ding this one, and this one goes ding. It's out of
Hmm.
tune. Do you know what I'm
Yeah, yeah,
saying?
yeah,
You
yeah.
get the strings on a guitar. One's
Mm,
in tune, the next one's not. They're not in resonance with each other. So
okay.
they kind of are competing they compete with each other, and we
Hmm.
hear it. We can hear it in our, unless we're tone deaf, and some people are, and we
Right.
can feel it in our hearts. I mean, even
Yeah.
like um, I heard this really cool story, and I haven't fact checked it, but I hope it's true, about Beethoven, who literally created a device that he could put in his mouth, where he could run it through to his piano because he went deaf. Beethoven was deaf, and he was one of our most amazing composers of all time. But he could hear the piano, he could feel the piano through the resonance in his teeth that would
Mm,
vibrate into his body so that he could compose.
mm.
And I hope that's true
I do
because
too.
it's so cool. And even if it's not, it gives a really clear picture of how what resonance is, right? It's that
Hmm.
we hear it in our ear because there's a vibrational tool in our ear, and we'll either know it. Like I like to think of like modern jazz. Modern jazz doesn't really resonate with me because it's all over the place. Whereas
Okay.
classical music has this flow to it, Same with
Right.
you. You kind of like heavy metal music. You like hard headbanger stuff. To me, that doesn't resonate in my
Right.
ear right. So it's
Hmm.
not attracting to me. It doesn't soothe me.
Gotcha.
It doesn't amp me up. It just makes me feel incoherent and kind of, So that doesn't resonate with me. Well,
So
like,
road trips, you're in charge of music.
well, but sometimes
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so that's what resonance is. It's that's coming into something, and we all have it. So, like, if I say, um, "Hey, do you want to go get coffee on Sunday morning?" Does that resonate with you? You're gonna know, like, yeah, I really would like to have coffee with you. You're gonna go like, oh, Sunday morning, man, that's the morning I like to sleep in. And then, no, it doesn't resonate with me. So I
Yeah.
use resonate like that because I feel we're in alignment. We're vibrating. I had a
Mm,
conversation with a young man today, and we were resonating with each other until we weren't. It just seemed like the conversation got really difficult at one point, to where it was like, okay, this isn't we're not vibrating together. We're not in concert with each other. Our sound together, his what he was saying and what I was trying to convey, we're not lining up anymore. And it
mm,
felt funny in my body. And I could tell he was lost. He wasn't interested in what I was saying anymore. And I was like, okay, you know what? There's no point in continuing this conversation. We are not resonating with each other anymore.
right.
And so I politely just said, "Hey, I think I've got to go. I really love to continue this conversation another time. Let's check in again." Because at that moment, something else got us out of tune. Do you
Hmm.
know?
Yeah.
And so paying attention to those things instead of pushing through them or saying, "Oh, I'm crazy." No, I really listen to what resonates with me in any given
Hmm.
moment, you
Yeah.
know? And yeah, is that helpful?
Yes, 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 yes. Because it's so fun when you were saying, I don't, it's just my brain that where it went when you said residence. I'm thinking
Sounds like houses, like
like a house.
apartments, places
So
to
I'm like,
live.
oh yeah, Palladian. I could see all the neighborhoods. Like I just
Well, yeah, resonance
yes.
to
There you
resonate.
go.
Yeah,
Now I
yeah.
get it.
Well, I'm glad I
Resonate with
cleared
your
that up
brain.
for you. But
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, but you're not wrong.
Right? I mean, I see the neighborhoods. So yeah,
You see the
I know.
neighborhood.
I do, I do.
You're a resident you're a resident of the neighborhood.
Hmm. Well, Miss Kim, I just love your attitude about I love you are a king for sure. And I love that energy about you and the Magi because you know you're just got this strong energy, but you look at you and you've just got this soft, beautiful, angelic look about you. And that combination can be lethal. Look out, world. But it's also, you're just such a gentle soul when it comes to just explaining these kinds of things, because not all of us are going to understand seeds and like we're stepping into this, but it's so fascinating. You take away all the scary parts. You know, it's okay for us to not know what residence is or what a seedling is, or, and I love that because it's a fun place to learn.
Thank you, because that's exactly what I want. I want people to ask questions because
Hmm.
that's the only way we find out answers. I know I spent a lot of my life in thinking, oh, I don't know what that means. I'm not going to say what that. I'm not going to ask the question.
Right.
And when we don't ask the question, we don't learn the answer, right? And
Mhm.
if anyone asks me a question and I don't know the answer to it, I'm pretty comfortable in saying, oh my gosh, that's a great question. Let me see what I can find out for you.
Right.
Again, being a king of clubs, I'm all about knowledge, so that's interesting to me. So I hope people feel that I'm approachable enough that they can say, I don't get what you're talking about. Can you bring that down even to another level of understanding for me? And that is when we can do that, when we can be kind to each other like that and really recognize that we don't have to speak in these terminologies or we don't have to put things in a box. You know, I had somebody else
Mhm.
who was trying to figure out what I did and was trying he kept saying things like, well, oh, you're tapping into the Akashic record. And I'm like, maybe, I don't know, maybe, like it's like it didn't really hit like, yes, but it
Mhm.
wasn't a hell no. So
Right.
maybe I am, but maybe I'm not. But he was trying to understand what I was doing by
Mhm.
putting me in these boxes that made sense in his brain.
Right.
And we all do that. But that's the beginning of conversation. And that's the beginning of saying, tell me more until this makes sense to me.
Right.
Tell me more. And I hope that I'm approachable in that way. Yeah.
Absolutely. That's why I
Yeah. I
think
hope.
when the first one, when you called and said, okay, this is what your results are and this is what it means, I'm sure I was deer in a headlight, but and you very intuitive. So you do pick up on when we're maybe struggling with understanding something. But yes, you're very patient and and it was so lovely because you were getting to know me at the same time. So you kind of saw some of these things. And then you were like, well, remember this? And I'm like, oh, yeah. Like it just kind of, so it's super valuable to have you go through the report with them. But then the ongoing, I think that's super exciting, the
I s-
ongoing work that
Yeah.
you do.
I've had the opportunity to do this to take people through the unveiling that are people I know really well. And I already see these things in them, people I've just met, kind of like you, that are just developing a relationship. And I can get excited about, I can see why we've connected because
Hmm.
um, I have some similar things as you. We have very similar vibrational patterns together. We travel together well, and then there's others that are brand new, like I've just met at a networking event or something, and they've just decided to take my quiz, or a friend has given them my card that has the QR code on it, and they decided to take the quiz. And I don't know them at all, and
Right.
it's I have no one has taken it that has admitted they've received no value at all.
Right.
And so to me, that means that everyone is getting something from it, even if it's
Yeah.
just that I really enjoyed those questions. That really made me think. Or if this validated everything that I'm already doing. Sometimes
Hmm.
it's that too. Sometimes it's just a confirmation that I'm already working in these energies naturally. Well, isn't
Right.
that cool to know that
Yeah.
someone else saw that? You had another confirmation
Hmm.
that you're on the right path, that you're right where you're supposed to be in this season at this
Hmm.
time, doing the thing that's already lighting you up and bringing value to the world. I mean,
Yeah.
that's great value. But if you're a little off, if you're calibrated a little bit different, you're like, man, I'm really feeling like I've got more challenges, and these are bringing out the challenges of that. Well, let's support you in getting more calibrated to utilizing them instead of fighting against those energies. I just got
Right.
my hair done, and I've been wearing it straight, and I was like, I feel like there's a lot of curl there, and I seem like I'm fighting it all the time. And I just told the lady who did my hair, I said, can we cut this to where the curl can maybe come out? And she did, and it did. This is like I've done nothing to my hair, I slept on it even, and it's still, but and so I stopped fighting what was naturally there, and that's kind of
Hmm.
what how I see these attunements with the cosmic origin quiz. It helps you to stop fighting what's already there, to
Yeah.
because it's already helping you, giving you momentum to support you in moving through,
Hmm.
because you're tapping into the whole universal cosmic energy that's just
Hmm.
out there waiting for you to line up with it.
Yeah, it's just
Super
waiting.
cool.
Hmm.
Just waiting.
It's
Just waiting.
so super cool.
Don't you have any like Zinga questions for me? Don't you have anything hard? Should
Hard questions?
help me?
No. I just have
No, you're so
just
nice to me. You're so nice to me.
I mean, yeah, I think you've answered a lot of the stuff that I was wondering about with the cosmic origin questions. Or questionnaires. I'm glad. I'm going to make sure everything is down in the show notes so that everyone can find you
Oh,
and
great.
do those
Yeah.
tests because the quiz, it's a fun quiz. It's like the back of an old magazine quiz. But it's fun because when you get it, you don't have to, you're not having to wait 7 to 10 business days to get your
Yeah.
report. So you're like, it's exciting when that thing comes and you get to read a
Oh,
little bit
very
more about
cool.
you.
I'm glad that you like it. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, great.
Yeah. Well, I know you've got stuff coming up. Do you want to share with the class what you've got coming up, events and whatnot?
Locally, I'm doing a couple of speaking engagements. I'm going to be speaking at a Wine, Women, and Wealth event here locally in the Boise area on the 12th.
Nice.
So I'll
March
be
12th.
March 12th. And I also have a dream circle. The first Friday of every month, I host a online dream circle. The purpose of that is to help dreamers get more in touch with their dreams. So maybe someone has a dream, they're like, man, I want to share this. I want to speak it out loud and share it. So they bring their dream journals and they get a chance to share their dream.
Hmm.
And then they get some wisdom from the group. And I teach the group how to be good dream tenders, how to not give advice, but to support what they hear, and also tap into their intuitiveness about what this may represent, either for the dreamer or for themselves. Because when you share a dream collectively,
Hmm.
uh, or we are now, it becomes our dream, and we can all mean value out of it.
Mm.
And ancient mothers of indigenous tribes have known this for forever. That in fact there are dream mothers and dream shamans that would come together to share dreams, and then from that information determine who and where and when the hunt would begin, for example, for the tribe.
Really?
So dreams have been known to be collectively super powerful. So in a dream circle, we play with that a little bit, and we play with it once a month on the first Friday. This is 7 p.m. Mountain Time.
Hmm.
Lasts about an hour and a half. Not everyone has to share. You can come and listen, although you do need to have your camera on because we are sharing private information. We want to make sure that you're in a private space and that you're not in a coffee shop where other people can hear, or we want to know who it is. It just makes
Right.
us all feel better about that. So if you're not in a place that you can do that or don't feel comfortable with your camera on, then maybe you and I can have a 15-minute chat or something and talk about what that looks like for you, and how I can support you or how the group can support you. So that's coming
Mm.
up this Friday, the 6th. And yeah, the 6th is the first Friday Dream Circle.
Love that. That's coming up. That's this
Yeah,
Friday. All
a
right.
couple days.
We're
Yeah,
getting that out there. We're going to
yeah,
share.
yeah. And
So,
the And you'll have the connection to the cosmic origin quiz, so you
Yes,
can take
ma'am.
that at
Everything's
any
good.
time. And then from there, there's an op when you get when you get your top resonance, there'll be an email that will come to you that will give you the how to continue working with me if you want to get the unveiling and get a cool picture of yourself,
Mm-hmm.
like the beautiful mare,
Yeah.
and all of that comes through the unveiling.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very cool. I love this thing so much. And I'm like, I want to do it again and again and again and again. So
Well, yeah, we've
yeah.
got another one coming up. My information's here on the wall from, let's see, when is your,
You have a wall of all your people.
yeah. Oh, hey, April. April. We're
Oh,
coming up
cool.
in
Okay.
April. We'll do it
That'll
again
be
in
fun.
April. So just a few weeks
Well, Donovan
later.
popped in with some questions when I said
Oh,
there's
okay.
some questions. You want to see what he has to say?
Sure.
Okay. So
Maybe he's
his
got a
big
zinger in there.
question, huh?
Maybe he has a zinger in there.
I don't know. I mean, he's pretty mellow too, but let's see what he said. If someone listening, okay, right now, for the when they hear the recording, what's up? What wakes up from? Okay, hold on. What are you saying to me? Oh, okay. When somebody wakes up from a dream, from a powerful dream, what's the first thing they should do? Capture. We've already said that, Donovan. Listen up, sir. Listen up.
What should we
He's
do yet,
asking
right?
too, what happens? Do people have dreams in different languages?
In different languages than the one
Mm-hmm.
that they speak,
Right.
or if they know it. Yes, that has happened. That has happened to me. It happened to me again in a channeling experience where I was on WhatsApp with a lady. So the lady sent me her dream on WhatsApp. And
Uh-huh.
I was responding to it on WhatsApp. So it's a recording, right? So I'm responding to it. And she was dreaming about this woman that was in her dream that came through like a vision, like this information. And so as she's telling me about this woman, this Hispanic woman in this dream, she's telling me
Uh-huh.
about it. I was the woman that she was describing. I started visualizing her. Her entire, like, she just became live for me in my mind.
Uh-huh.
And then she started talking to me, and she was talking to me in another language. And so I'm conscious, but I'm picking up on this unconscious information. And it freaked
Uh-huh.
me out. So like I had to stop talking and I had to say, I paused it and I had to just listen to this language. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, okay, wait a minute. She's speaking to me in Spanish or Portuguese or something like that, you know? And
Mm-hmm.
I was like, I do not, it went really fast, rapid. And I said, I do not know what you're saying. I cannot understand you. Can you can you speak in my language? And I just said that in my head, right? And I had
Uh-huh.
my paper out and I started writing down. And she had a message for my dreamer and she had a message for me. And that was the first like real experience of like, what was that that just came through me? Like that was crazy.
Oh
And
my.
so I shared the message with the dreamer and told her that, you may think I'm crazy, but this, and it was spot on for her. It was exactly what she needed to hear in the moment. And the
Holy
message for me
Moses.
was extremely powerful as well. And I knew that already, but so that's happened. But as far as other people, if you're, yes, in fact, people who, especially people who are like taking a foreign language class, like in college or in high school,
Mm-hmm.
will sometimes pick up on the dream like that and dream in that way. But I would pay attention to that. And um, if you did have a dream in a different language that you didn't understand, it could actually be a different kind of language that isn't an earth language. It could be a galactic language. It could be, you know what I'm saying? So
Uh-huh.
it's I have found that it's very helpful when that happens to ask for the message, say, okay, I had this dream and I didn't understand it. It was in a different language. And just in a semi-meditative state, I call it liminal space, kind of between sleep and wake, or
Mm-hmm.
meditative state where you're kind of chill, you know, I would just like do some automatic writing about that and say, what was that message? Can you just come through and give me that message again
Mm-hmm.
in a language that I can understand?
Oh,
And just write down what you're receiving.
Yeah, what you're receiving. That's
I
beautiful.
always say I play in this, and the reason I say that is because I don't want to get so hung up on the scientific backup. Like, what is this real? Did I just
Exactly.
make this up?
Exactly.
So what if I did just make this up? I have a really creative imagination then, How did
Hmm.
I know that I was making all this up? It doesn't really matter. I'm just playing with the energy. I'm playing in it and
That's
keeping it
right.
light because that helps me to keep um, going higher and higher in it and learning more and more because I'm
Mhm.
not getting all hung up on whether or not it's true or right. I'm hung up on, does this serve? And
And does
is
it?
this good? And
Hmm.
does it resonate? Does it feel
Hmm.
good to me? And does it feel good to those who I'm sharing it with? Is it
Right.
making sense for them?
Yeah.
Even if it, yeah, so that's a good question. That's really, and it, see, Donovan knew that
Well done,
it
Donovan.
channeled in a different language. What else Donovan got there for me?
Well, he's asking what are the dangers in overanalyzing the dreams and get possibly giving them more power than they deserve.
Okay, that's a good question. And I don't know if it's over analyzing, but some people take their dreams really literally,
Okay.
and that could be dangerous because your subconscious can only speak in pictures and images. Okay,
Hmm.
so it has to create something that will come through the veil, right? That will be remembered. And it sometimes is pretty graphic. An example, I had a woman who came to me and she says, I have had this terrible, terrible dream, and I'm so afraid that something's going to happen to my daughter. And I was like, why? And she goes, well, I had this dream that we were in this parking lot and someone backed their car into my daughter and cut her legs off, like right at the knees, like right below the knees, just cut her legs, just severed, and there's
Oy.
blood everywhere, and she's bleeding out on the ground. And she goes, and I just woke up. I would have one of those, wake ups. And she
Yeah.
said, and I'm just so afraid something's going to happen to her. Like, I don't want to let her out of my sight. I don't want her to be at the parking lot at school. I want to make sure she's with me all the time. And she
Hmm.
got real literal about this dream. And so I said, okay, tell me, is there anything that's going on with your daughter where you feel like someone or something is cutting her off at the knees? And she
Mm.
went, oh, because that's what I heard. That's what I saw. I saw, okay, that was pretty literal. Like this, she would spend a lot of time explaining to me where her injury was and where she was being cut. And it was right at the knees, right? So
Hmm.
that's what I heard. And my mind said she's being cut off at the knees. Or her mother thinks she's being cut off at the knees. And it was a decision that they were trying to make um, about a school situation, whether she should change schools or not, whether she should be homeschooled or not, because she felt like the establishment, the school, was not paying attention to her daughter's needs, cutting her off at the knees.
Did you?
And it
Oh my God.
and it made so much sense to the dreamer that she was
Yeah.
like, oh, I get it now. I get it. But before that, she was thinking, oh my gosh, my daughter is going to be, we think they're prophetic when really it was the
Right.
only way her subconscious could clearly get that message through to her. It had to
Hmm.
be that graphic, right?
Yep. Right.
So that's dangerous if we think, oh my gosh, I just dreamt that someone's dying. Uh, Oftentimes the dying dream will make us feel like, oh, my dad's dying or my mom's dying. Well, it could mean that we're dealing with the loss of the relationship. Maybe they live a long ways away, and maybe they are not great on tech, and so you can't get a hold of them very often, and they
Mm.
won't answer their phone. Or maybe it's a high school. I was having those kind of death dreams about my son when he was getting ready to transition out of our home from high school into college and
Mhm.
living on his own. I was having a lot of death dreams. It was the death of the way the relationship was going. It wasn't that my son was going to die. It
Right.
was that our relationship was shifting and it felt like a death to me.
And that
So
is why when people have dreams, I'm always saying you gotta get it, you gotta go find Kim Harrison because she's gonna, because it will some haunt people. Like they'll have a same dream
absolutely.
over and over again, and they're like, I don't know what it means. I'm like, go call her, go find her, go
Yeah,
on her website because, and that's the
good.
thing, you guys, you could put in the questions at the bottom of the show notes. Ask a question, ask her what these things mean. I'll send them to her, but I will also make sure that you have all the information because
Yeah. On
you
the dream
might.
side too, I do a mini dream session. So if you have just a dream and so you can schedule one of those with me and it's about 30 minutes and we can go over a particular dream. And because a lot of them are like that, they're pretty quick. I can
Mhm.
give you some support to help you to really understand why you had the dream, right?
Yeah.
Most of them are not, I call it scary or a nightmare. I call it a loud dream. And I
Hmm.
have worked with kids too who have, kids oftentimes have nightmares and dreams and night terrors. And I
Yeah.
can support the parent and the child in that situation. So um, that's really beautiful work. And I think a lot
Hmm.
of parents just think it's going to go away. They negate it. They just say, most of us have been told, oh, just go back to sleep. It was just a bad dream. Well, there's
Right.
some processing there. And it maybe mean that processing doesn't have to happen at 2 o'clock in the morning, but
Right.
some processing to help that your child to really assimilate that information. I had an experience with a girl who was having some pretty traumatic stuff going on at school. And once we identified that it was coming through in her dream and that this is what she was dreaming about, and that's why it was so scary, she said, when she processed it all, she went, well, that's not scary at all. Like it just gave her information, the fear
Hmm.
of the dream, because she was afraid to sleep in her own bed. And then when
Hmm.
we processed this dream, she found the meaning, and she and her mother both concurred that that made sense to what it was, what this was representing.
Hmm.
And she was like, well, that's not scary at all. And then I worked through some processes of some support on things that she could do if she had the dream again. Because kids can go lucid, so can adults, go into a lucid state where we can actually manipulate things in the dream. And how could
Hmm.
she change the outcome of some things? And giving her some tools that she might be able to use if she had that dream again, just made it to where the dream didn't even have occur again. So she didn't have to.
Right. God, how
So
empowering for that little girl. Like,
and her mother,
oh my
her
gosh. Yeah, yeah,
mother,
yeah, yeah.
because now her mother can have these kind of conversations with her and sit and really take a look at it, or call me if they needed to do it, if they need to do it again,
Yeah.
to just gain that support to help our children to process their dreams so that they don't feel that there's no value to their dreams. They'll grow up knowing
Right.
that, hey, this stuff that comes through to me when I wake up, where I've been for a third of my life,
Hmm.
is valuable, and I want to pay attention to it, and I want to integrate it into my consciousness so that I'm
Mm.
connecting whole brain, that my subconscious, I think our
Mm.
subconscious is our best friend.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. I love that so much. I love that so much. Well, thank you. I don't think there's any more hard questions. Donovan's just like, yep, love it, love it, love it. So he's ready to go have pizza, he said. Okay, fine.
Ah. Well, thanks, Mare. This was a pleasure. I always love chatting with you.
Me too. I'm so glad you came back, and we'll have you again and again because I know that there's value in it for sure, big time. So
Yeah.
thank you again. And everybody, all the notes will be there. You know how to find her. There'll be no excuses. If you have a bad dream, you know how to find her. If you want to find out your origin from the cosmos and learn all those things, there will be a link. You'll be able to find her, all her socials. She's got some fun things coming up, so don't miss those. If you can go to Wine, Women, and Wealth, is some that go to that. I'm going to go to my first one this time. This month will be my first
Oh,
one.
wonderful.
So
Very
I'm
good.
going. Yeah. Everybody needs a little wealth and a little wine
And a little
and some
wealth, a little
women.
wine, and a few women. Come on, it's
Good
only open
time.
for women or people who identify as women. So
There you go. In Idaho. So
in
sorry.
I in Idaho, I'll only be at the Idaho one.
That's right. That's right. Okay, you guys. So be good humans. Please be good humans. Go out there and look some amazing brains today. And as always, would you like to say it, Miss Kim?
Sweet dreams.
That too. And don't be a dick.
Oh yeah. Okay, I haven't been on here enough. Can we do that again? I
Yes,
want to
ma'am.
say
Okay.
it.
Backspace delete.
Okay.
Be a good human. Lick some good brains.
And don't be a dick.
Yes. Love it. Okay. Bye, guys.